Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. This will be a video for the hometown crowd. We are at that time of the year, what we like to call lifeboat drill, which is we have embarked and we're just about ready to get to the 2025 legislative session, so we all need to know how to get off a sinking ship. Okay, now all the time here at Washington Gun Law, we talk about terrible bill after terrible bill after terrible bill, and that's typically all we do talk about here because that's the only thing that really comes to fruition. But I want you to understand, Washington, that there are good gun bills that actually get filed by legislators who actually do care for your Second Amendment rights and go down there and fight like crazy on behalf of them. This is one of the bills that we're going to talk about today because I think this is a real solution to a real life problem that we just saw recently. So today, let's spend a couple minutes and let's talk about what a good gun bill in Washington State. So today we're trying to figure out just how effective is StopBox, and the best way to test that is to put it to test with some of our nation's youngest and brightest kids, you know, college kids. So with the help of Gun Law Jr. there behind the camera, we got some of our local kids who are home for Christmas break. Let's see how they do. Okay, so why don't you give me your first name, your university, and what you're studying in?
Yeah, Herbert, UW, engineering, civil.
Eugene, studying computer science at Cal State Fordson.
My name is Milton. I'm at WSU and I'm studying mechanical engineering.
Sheldon, UW, quantum physics.
Dude, what's going on here?
You told me to get college kids.
I said college kids. I didn't say engineering majors. I meant like soc, psych, poli-sci, something like that. What's going on?
Science is what I could get.
You need to hang out with dumber friends. All right, gentlemen, this is how this is going to work today. I have here $500. Okay, and that'll buy you a lot of beer or pizza or whatever the heck it is you guys spend your money on. One of you gets into this box, the money's yours. Have fun.
I don't know, man. We give up.
You guys are giving up, huh?
Yep,
Sir.
Really? Okay, well, looks like I get to keep the money, but thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Sheldon, I read that paper you did about variability of measurements in quantum physics.
Oh, yeah?
So, man. StopBox. Protect your family while protecting your family. Okay, Washington, we're going to talk about a really good piece of legislation in a second, but first we're going to have to talk about today's what if, okay? What if your background checks when you go to purchase firearms had to be exclusively run through a Washington State Patrol system, a unique individualized state system, okay? And then what if that system got hacked? And because it got hacked, the state of Washington decided, oh my God, we got to shut it down completely. So they shut down the background check system altogether. Not like that would happen, right? And then what if it took them weeks before they could get the system back up and running? Oh my God, how would you be able to secure a firearm during that period of time? Not like that would ever happen, except that that is exactly what happened in November here in Washington State. And that's the exact scenario that hundreds and hundreds of lawful, responsible Washington residents found themselves in, okay? And then, oh, by the way, once the system was back up and running, along comes the log jam. And remember, for some people, depending on when they got in and when they didn't get in and all of that kind of stuff, their background checks theoretically could have expired already. Okay, now if that were to ever happen again, because the system is clearly so secure, what would we do in that kind of Armageddon scenario? Well, let me introduce you to Senate Bill 5056, sponsored by Senator Keith Wagner out of Washington's 39th Legislative District, predominantly the Cedar-Woolley area, who has actually come up with a piece of legislation to solve that exact problem. So oftentimes we talk about pieces of legislation here that are solutions that are still out there searching for a problem, okay? This is an actual solution to a real problem that we have already experienced and we are likely to experience again. I will point out that that system went down right after the election. Could be just coincidence, but I want to point that out. Now, what Senate Bill 5056 basically says is, hey, listen, the Washington State Patrol is using the NICS background check system anyways as a large component of what they do. A lot of you may not realize this, but Washington's very unique and high-end background check system really involves Washington State Patrol doing most of the paperwork that the gun stores themselves would have done. But what the bill basically says is, hey, listen, if the Washington State system goes down, we have the federal NICS system. It obviously is very reliable, and therefore FFLs can use that. The additional language which would be added to this statute that relates to what is the Washington State's background check system, or RCW 43.43.580, would read as follows. Notwithstanding subsection 2B1 through 4 of this section, whenever a Washington State Patrol record system is inaccessible or unavailable in such a manner as to prevent the Washington State Patrol background check program from complying with subsections 2B1 through 4 of this section for a period of 7 consecutive days, the Washington State Patrol background check program may process the background check by complying with subsection 2C of this section and conducting a check of A, the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, B, any relevant Washington State record systems that are available at the time of the background check, and C, any other databases or resources as appropriate. So that additional language would then permit Washington State Patrol to operate in an emergency situation outside the confines of what is Washington's enhanced background check system. But then, as you know, there are requirements that are placed on the FFLs as well, right? Because you can't do X until Y happens. And that Y happens to be that you have to go through the full Washington State Patrol background check before you can take receipt of a firearm. If we end up in, or when we end up in another one of these situations, additional language then is added to RCW 9.41.090, which kind of limits how FFLs conduct business and what needs to be done before they can transfer a firearm to an individual. The additional language in that statute, if this bill becomes law, would read, notwithstanding subsection 2 of this section, whenever a Washington State record system is inaccessible or unavailable in such a manner as to prevent the Washington State Patrol background check program from conducting a background check for a period of 7 consecutive days, the Washington State Patrol background check program may process the background check by and conducting a check of the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, any relevant Washington State record systems that are available at the time of the background check, and any other relevant agencies, databases, or resources as appropriate. So essentially, this bill, if enacted into law, would only be used in emergency situations, and it would authorize the Washington State Patrol, and it would authorize Washington State FFLs to operate temporarily outside the confines of Washington's background check system until the system was then back online. It's a wonderful piece of legislation that actually solves a real problem that has been actually experienced by many Washington residents. Okay, and like I said at the very beginning, I wanted to highlight this because ultimately what we're going to be talking about in January and February is likely not going to be Senate Bill 5056. No, you see, this is proposed by a Republican. This actually has solutions to real problems, and so therefore the Democrats will never let it see the light of day. It is my prediction that this will go much the same way as Senator Linda Wilson's bill from a couple years ago that would have significantly increased the penalties for stealing firearms and being in possession of stolen firearms and using stolen firearms in the commission of crimes, you know, real problems. And it never got a committee hearing. It never even got a single committee hearing. My unfortunate prediction is I think Senate Bill 5056 will go the same way. But kudos to Senator Wagner, because this is a good piece of legislation to solve a real problem. And that's what I kind of wanted to explain to you, Washington, is I know a lot of you roll your eyes. I know you just absolutely think that there's nobody down there fighting for your rights. There are. Unfortunately, they are grotesquely outnumbered by those on the lunatic left. All right, listen, if you got any more questions about this bill, we'll link it up down below. If you got any more questions about this or anything else related to what's left of your Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now, but if you don't, that's okay. That information's down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, you tell us by clicking on that link right there and letting us know. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that is down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.